Hey lovely people, welcome back once again to another episode of Stitches Beads Collection. I'm Miss Stitches. Today I'm so happy to share with you how to make this beautiful and unique beaded bag. Before we start, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button. Let's get started. Materials needed. So to start, you cut your fish line. You make sure it's long enough and you are using 0.7. So you make sure it's long enough, then you cut it off. Then you make sure you have the ends, both ends. Then you pick 4 beads. You fix 3 on any side. Then you cross with the last one, which is the 4th bead. So you cross with the last one. Then we have our first ring. So this is what you should get. Then you go on and pick 3 beads. Fix 1 on each side. So you fix 1 on the left fish line, 1 on the right fish line. Then you cross with the 3rd one. You cross with the 3rd one. Then you have our 2nd ring. So there we go. You go on and pick 3 beads again. Fix 1 on each fish line, as you can see. Then you cross with the 3rd one. That is it. So we are going to continue weaving. So we get 12 rings. So there we go. We have it. So when you get to the last one, you pick 3 beads, fix 2 on the left fish line because we have to turn. Then you cross with the last one. So this time we fix 2 beads on the left fish line. Then we cross with the last one. So we'll be able to turn, as you can see. So we can weave to the other end. Then you go on and pick 3 beads again, fix 2 on the left fish line again. Then you cross with the last bead. So you cross with the 3rd bead. So we want the fish line turned very well for us, as you can see. Then you go through the next bead here. Then this time you pick 2 beads, fix 1 on the left fish line. Then you cross with the last one. Okay, so we keep on weaving to the other end. Then you go through the next bead. Then you pick 2 beads again, fix 1 on the left fish line. Then you cross with the last one. So this time we are picking 2 beads. You fix 1 on the left fish line. Then you cross with the 2nd bead. So you go through the next bead again. Then you weave to the other end, to the last but 1 bead here. So we have it. And this time too, when you get to the last end, you go through the last bead. Then you pick 2 beads, fix 1 on the right fish line this time. You fix it on the right fish line. Then you cross with the left fish line. So this time it's vice versa. You fix the beads on the right fish line. Then you cross with the left fish line. That is it now. So we have a 10. You pick 3 beads, fix on the left fish line, which is the last fish line. Then you cross with the last bead or with the 3rd bead. So we have it completely turned. Then you go through the next bead. Then you pick 2 beads, fix on the left fish line, fix 1 on the left fish line. Then you cross with the last one, as we did previously. Then you go through the next bead and repeat the same process or the same method. You cross with the last bead, then you go through the other one. So now we are going to weave to the end again. There we go. So when you get to the last end, you then pick 2 beads, fix 1 on the left fish line now. Then you cross with the right fish line using the last bead. So we are going on to weave 2 more times, okay, to make the steps 5. So we have it now. As you can see, we have 5 steps. And then we are going to continue weaving further. So you go through this bead, the bead I'm going through. You go through the last but 1 bead. Then you pick 3 beads again, fix on the left fish line. And then you cross, fix 2 on the left fish line. Then you cross with the last bead. It's the same method we are using throughout. So this time you start weaving from the last but 1 bead. and then you go through the next bead, and then you pick 2 beads, fix one on the left fish line, and then you cross with the right fish line using the last bead. Then you go through the next one. So you weave with the same method till you get to the last but one bead on the other side as well. Then you go through the next bead. So notice when you get to the last but one bead, we are turning again. So you fix the bead on the left fish line, one bead on the left fish line, then you cross with the last bead. So you pick 2 beads. Then this time we are skipping one bead to the next bead. So you pass the fish line through to the last but one bead again. So you pass it through both fish line through to the last but one bead, as you can see I'm doing. Good. So we have both fish lines on the last but one bead, as you can see. Please notice well. Then you go on and fix 2 beads on the left, then you cross with the last bead using the right fish line. So we are weaving with the same method. You go through the next bead, fix 2 beads on the left fish line, then you cross with the last one with the same method, as you can see. So you weave on to the last but one bead again. So we have it there, and then this time we are going to pass the fish line to the last but one bead again. So we have it there on the last but one bead, and we are going to weave the last step. Then we go on with the same method till we get to the last but one bead again. So you end at the last but one bead. So this is the last step, and you need to get 6 at the end. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you need to get 6 at the end. Now you pass the fish line through everything to make it firm, because that is the base. So there we have it now. So we are going to repeat the same thing on the other side here to get a complete base. So there we have it now. We have the complete base done. But if the base is small for you, you can extend it to get the base bigger. But this is the size I like. So you are going to weave around it now to make the body of the bag. So with the new fish line, you go through this bead. I'm going through this bead. You can go through any side you want. Then you fix 2 beads on the left fish line again. Then you cross with the last bead using the right fish line. So note that you can fix the beads on the left fish line if you are okay with it. Then you pick 2 beads, fix one on the left fish line, then you cross with the last bead. So you cross with the last bead. Then you go through the next bead again. Then you fix 1 bead on the left fish line, then you cross with the last one as well. So as you can see, it's the same method we are using again to form the body of the bag. So you go on and weave with the same method throughout. So this time when you get to the last end, you go through the next 2 beads here. You go through those beads, then you cross with 1 bead. Then we have the first step complete. Then with the second step, you pick 3 beads, fix 2 on the left fish line or the side you want to turn with. Then you cross with the last bead. We have a turn for us to weave to the other end. Then you fix 2 beads as usual on the left fish line. Then you cross with the last bead. Then you go through the next bead. Then you weave on with the same method. Just note that anytime you get to the last end, you go through the next 2 beads, then you cross with 1 bead to make it complete. So we are going to weave till we get the length we want, about 7 steps, exactly about 7 or 8 steps. So I have my 7th step done, and we are going to continue weaving, but this time when you get to the zigzag part, you skip 1 bead. So that is what we are going to do this time. So you weave normal, but when you get to the zigzag side, you skip 1 bead. So let's go on, and please watch the method carefully. So you fix 2 beads on the left fish line, then you cross with the last bead, as you can see, with the same method. So after this time, you won't go through the next bead, you skip to the next bead here. So you go through this bead here, you go through that one. So you skipped 1, and then you go through the next one, as you can see. So you skip this and went through this. Then you fix 2 beads on the left fish line again, then you cross with the last one with the same method. So after you skip, you weave with the same method. This time you won't skip, you go through the next one, then fix 2 beads again and cross with the right fish line. So after this method, you then skip the next bead. So we are skipping this one and going through the next bead. So as you can see, I'm going through the next bead, leaving 1 in the middle. That is what we are doing. Then you weave with the same method, you cross. So when you get to the straight part, you weave normal, you don't skip any bead on that part. You weave normal till you get to the next zigzag bead. So you weave the first bead on the zigzag part, then you skip the second bead and go through the third bead. So I'm going through the third bead, as you can see. Then you fix 2 beads and cross with the last one using the right fish line. So this time you won't skip, you go through the next bead and then weave, and then this time you skip to the last bead on the zigzag part. So we are skipping only 2 beads on the zigzag part, note that please. Then you weave normal to the next zigzag bead. So please note that anytime you get to the zigzag part, you skip 2 beads there and go through the next bead till you finish the first step. So we have it done now, and we have the first step complete. And as you can see, we are getting a curvy shape. Watch it carefully. You need to get a curvy shape. So we are going to continue weaving with the same method again, but with the second step, we are not skipping any bead again. Or let me say, with the rest we are going to weave, we are not skipping any bead again. So you only skip the bead once. That is the 8th step. That is when you are doing the 8th step. After the 8th step, you weave normal to the end or till you get the length you want. So as I said, we are not skipping any bead. So you are done with the 9th step. So you weave all around. So we have it now. And then we are going to weave till you get the length you want. So you are going to add, like, let me say 6 or 7 step again. And I have it now. As you can see, it's nicely curved. So after you curve it, the shape will come by itself. So you're going to weave the cover, and then the cover is just like the base of the bag. And then we have 6 and 5 ends as usual. And then with the middle part, I made it 10. So that is all. You can do any design you want in it. So we're going to attach it to the bag. So with the 6th side, that is the part we are going to attach. So with the new fish line, you go through the last bead or the first bead on the 6th part. Then you pick 2 beads, fix one first on the left side. Then you go through the first bead on the cover, as you can see I'm doing. And then you cross with the 2nd bead. So we have it now. Then using the right bead, you go through the next bead on the right. Using the left bead, you go through the next bead on the left. And then you still cross with 1 bead. Then you go through the next bead on both sides. Then you cross with 1 bead throughout. You are done joining with it. So after you pass the fish line through to the other end, from the last end you stopped or you ended, then you pass it through to the last end where you started with. Then after you pass the rest through, or to make sure it's firm. So we are going to weave around the edges of the bag to make it complete, to make it look like a cover. So you go through this bead here, 1, 2, 3. You go through. Then with the same method, you pick 3 beads, fix 2 on the left fish line. Then you cross with the last bead using the right fish line. Then you go through the next bead. Then you pick 2 beads again, fix 1 on the left fish line, then you cross with the last one using the right fish line as usual. So you are going to weave on and on. Then you go through the next bead. So you are going to weave all around twice. So this time we need only 2 steps. There we go, we have it now. So as you can see, we have the complete cover on the bag. You can open and close so beautifully and easy. So it's time for us to make a locker. So that is what we're going to do now. So with the new fish line again, you go through the last but 1 bead on the 6th side, and then you fix 1 bead on each fish line, then you cross with the last one. So we have one ring done. Then you fix one bead on each fish line, then you cross with the last one. So please watch it carefully. That is the method we are going to use to make the locker. So when you get to the third step, you need to turn. So you fix 2 beads on the left fish line, then you cross with the last bead. So we'll have the fish line turned, as you can see. Then you go on and weave again with the same method. And then this time too, when you get to the 4th bead, you have to turn. So as usual, you fix 2 beads on the left fish line, then with the last bead you cross using the right fish line, then you have it turned again. Then you weave one more step, and then with the next step you fix 1 bead on each fish line, but this time we are not crossing with another bead. You go through this bead here, the one I'm going through, then you pass the other side with the other fish line. So you have it logged or attached to the cover. Now we are going to pass the fish line through everything, or through the parts we just did, to make it very firm. So we have it done now. You can see it's straight now. So we need to do a second holder to lock it. So you go through this bead here, the 4th bead I guess. Then you fix 1 bead on each fish line, then you cross with the last one. Then you fix 1 bead on each fish line again, then you cross with the last bead. So you weave about 4 steps depending on where you want it to be. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you set it aside for the meantime. Then with the new bead, you go through the next bead here. Then you weave on with the same method to create something like a knot, so we can lock the bag. So please watch carefully and do the same thing. It's just the same method. So with this part we need only 2 steps, and please note that after you are done you need to pass the fish line through very well to make it firm, and then you get back to the one we set aside. And now you can use the same bead, or you use this round beads, this small round beads. So you can use any of these beads. So you can fix about 10 to 12 beads or 15 beads depending on the size of the beads. Then you go through with the other fish line. So anywhere you fix it, after you go through the other fish line, as you can see, then you go through this bead here with both fish line. So all we are doing here is to create a circle or a ring which can fit inside the knot we created or we made. So I used the sugar beads for the video, but after I changed it behind the scene, let me say that, because I felt the small beads will be okay. So you can change it if you want. So as you can see, I have the small beads on because I felt that one is small and can go through the hole we made on the cover. So you fix it this way. And then you lock the ring on this side as well. And we are done. So this is how you're going to lock your bag to keep it safe. So after I made these small rings on the side just to fix the handle on them. That is the part we are going to fix the handle. That off camera is the same method as we started with. Okay, the chains we made. So you just fix it on the little or the small circle I made on the sides. The small rings I made on the sides. You just fix it there, and then you have your beautiful bag. So it's so easy, so unique. You need to try this with any color of your choice. You are good to go, like seriously. Please give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more of my tutorials. Make sure you comment and share as well. Follow me on Instagram and on Facebook. Subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so you'll be notified anytime I upload a video. Thank you. See you in my next video. Have a nice day and bye.